Hey, vinyl community, Doodah Dave, coming at ya. Ooh, my lava lamp needs a little pep up there. As I've gone through these years, I find now I'm coming up to 1976. It's getting harder and harder. It seems like I have more and more albums as the decades go on, or the years go on in the decade. So I boil this down to my top, I think it's 19 from 1976. So let's get started. Here we've got Bob Dylan, Desire. That's certainly a great one. Lead off track with the Hurricane. He's got great people on this album. Scarlett Rivera on the fiddle, really terrific. He's got, who else does he have on here? Ronnie Blakely singing backup. Emmylou Harris singing backup. Howard Wyeth on the drums. It's a really, really great album. Desire, I love Romance in Durango. I love One More Cup of Coffee. I love Mozambique. I love Isis. Pretty much love On Columbia. I love On Columbia. There's a lot of great albums on Columbia. Columbia certainly did in the 70s a great job of fostering artists, developing artists, and giving artists a venue for them to explore their work. Great back cover. I think I saw that, and you saw the front cover. And this, of course, led to the Rolling Thunder tour. And it's just great. I mean, Rolling Thunder and then Blood on the Tracks, which we talked about. Of course, this was the sequel to Blood on the Tracks, and doing a sequel to Blood on the Tracks, of course, was not easy for Mr. Dylan in those days. And remember, Dylan had a lot of great albums behind him at this point. So start off with some heavies. The Fleetwood Mac album, as people know, is the black back cover. I think I've featured this album before. I got this recently down in Orlando from a very nice gentleman down there who I'll try to find their shop and put it in the notes down at the bottom of the video. Fleetwood Mac, Say You Love Me. You know, it's the tour de force for Stevie, who's on the cover there with Mick Fleetwood. Oh, actually, no, that's the Rumors album. I'm sorry. There's Stevie. Correction, Stevie. And Mr. Buckingham and Christine. Perfect. And funny, they're in that bathroom with the black and white tile. Kind of makes me think of Reservoir Dogs. Wrong. 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 It's movies, not. Although there's some great music in Reservoir Dogs as well. All right, let's keep back. Keith Olsen producing. First time he produced. Keith Olsen went on to produce, of course, the Grateful Dead's Terrapin Station in '77. In the next year, and Waddy Wachtel plays piano on Sugar Daddy. Landslide is great. Rhiannon, Warm Ways. I mean, this, as well as Rumors, almost plays like a greatest hits. Everything on here. Blue Letter is Crystal Over My Head. Monday Morning, Say You Love Me. I mean, there's a host of great songs on here. Another great singer-songwriter, along with Jackson Browne, did The Pretender in '76. This is a fantastic album. It's got a Lowell George. Everybody knows I love Lowell George. I believe that's Jackson's son playing in the waves there. And it's a fantastic album. Your Bright Baby Blues. Lowell George, Chuck Rainey, Jim Gordon on drums. I mean, Roy Bittan from the E Street Band. You've got Bob Glaub on bass, Jeff Porcaro on drums on a couple tunes. Most of the album, actually, Russell Kunkel. So those are the three drummers. That should tell you all. Crosby and Graham Nash on The Pretender doing backup harmony. So it's you know, the usual L.A. Geffen Mafia, produced by John Landau. I guess that's where Bittan got over there before John Landau went to manage Bruce Springsteen exclusively. Just a fantastic album on the Geffen label on Asylum. There you got the door, the blue sky. Asylum label, Bright Baby Blues. I mean, Sleeps Dark and Silent Gate. Here Come the Tears again. This was after, I believe, or about the time that his wife committed suicide, which is kind of a sad and serious thing. I think it was around this time. So this was a very poignant, with, just like Dylan going through his breakup with his wife Sarah. These poignant events, the loss of Jerry Garcia and Phil Lesh's mother during American Beauty, when these stars and great artists and songwriters go through these heavy-duty machinations emotionally and psychologically, they tend to produce some of their best work. Talking about best works, this is Steely Dan's Royal Scam, 1976. My favorite Steely Dan album. I've always thought the Royal Scam was about Watergate. I know it was a couple of years after, but I think it's very tongue-in-cheek political satire. And talk about sidemen. Well, you got Don Grolnick on keyboards, Victor Feldman, Paul Griffin, Larry Carlton, Dean Parks, Elliot Randall, and Denny Diaz on the guitars. Pretty much an all-star. Steely Dan Guitar Fest. Bass, Walter Becker, Chuck Rainey. Drums, Rick Marotta, Bernard Purdy. Percussion, Gary Coleman, Victor Feldman again. Horns, Chuck Finley, Bob Finley, Slide High, Jim Horn, Blas Johnson, John Clemmer. Backup vocals, Fagan, Vanetta Fields, Clyde King, Shirley Matthews, Michael McDonald, and Tim Schmidt. So you've got an all-star cast on the ABC records. I'm still reading that book about Impulse, which was part of the ABC family and that jazz, and they were on there with all those jazz guys. You can tell that. Gary Katz producing, great back cover there, and the songs. Green Earrings, I just heard a live version of that. Caves of Altamira, Don't Take Me Alive, Haitian Divorce, Sign and Stranger. I mean, I love every song on here. The Fez, and of course the Royal Scam, Everything You Did. Name checking the Eagles on there, which we'll hear about in a little while. Royal Scam, 76. Rod Stewart weighed in with his last great album. So somebody talked about this being the last great album. I think it was one of the round tables. A Night on the Town. He had the Muscle Shoals rhythm section with him on this, kind of a French impressionist on that, and then a photograph of Rod there. It did have Tonight's the Night, it's on Warner. But it had a lot of the backing people were also a lot of the faces on this. And I have a nice insert here. There's Rod. And who'd you have on here? Duck Dunn, Bob Glaub again, Hood from the rhythm set, the Muscle Shoals, Willie Weeks, Leland Sklar on bass, Steve Cropper on guitars, Joe Walsh on guitars, David Lindley on guitars, Fred Tackett from Little Feat. I mean, how could this? Barry Beckett on keyboards, and Roger Hawkins, Rick Schlosser, Andy Newmark. There's a great Joe Layla on percussion. It's just Tower of Power horn section. That's a lot to say. Plus tenor sax solos by Jay Jumonville and Blas Johnson. So it's just great. Recorded at Muscle Shoals. Criteria did the string overdubs, and then in Hollywood. Great album. Tonight's the Night, I said, was that. First Cut is the Deepest. Cat Stevens. Got Killing of Georgie, which was about way before a murder of a gay guy. Wild Side of Life, Trade Winds. Looks like Mike McDonald co-wrote that. Great, Pretty Flamingo. Great album, Night on the Town with Mr. Stewart. And then another big hit maker, Steve Miller, had Fly Like an Eagle. This was 76, of course. Has Mercury Blues, is probably my favorite off this. After the hit of The Joker, he needed a follow-up, and he really brought it with this one. So you have Fly Like an Eagle, of course, with the space intro. Dance, 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 Mercury Blues. I mean, Take the Money and Run was a big hit. Rockin' Me. The Sam Cooke cover, You Send Me. And The Window kind of jams out Sweet Maria into the window at the end, while Mountain Honey, kind of a country-ish, spacey country thing. Great band. Kenny Johnson, Charles Calamise, this is hard to read, Curly Cook. Les Dudek did slide guitar in The Window. I told you The Window was a jam at the back. Les Dudek, who played on Jessica with the Allman Brothers. Terrific, terrific guy. John McPhee from the Doobie Brothers on Dobro on Dance, Dance, Dance. So he's got great people backing him up. This is just a great album. Fly Like an Eagle. I love Steve. I know he's very poppy, but I think he's got kept that blues thing going from the 60s, and a terrific performer and innovator. Another great singer-songwriter, you know I'm big on the singer-songwriters, Joni Mitchell's Hejira. I featured this album a couple of times, 1976. And of course she had Pastorius, Jaco Pastorius from Weather Report on here, and Larry Carlton on the first cut on Coyote, which was written about Bob Dylan. So see how it all ties together. They were on the Rolling Thunder tour together, which was kind of his tour after Desire. I think he also has Metheny on his. Is Metheny only on the live album? I only see Larry Carlton mostly, but Larry Carlton. If you can't get Pat Metheny, you get Larry Carlton. If you can't get Larry Carlton, you get Pat Metheny, right? John Guerin, who she used from the LA Express, she used to date, is on Refuge of the Roads. Love that song. It's probably my favorite song in here. I love Song for Sharon, her trip on the Staten Island Ferry and going to the Mandolin Brothers and all that. Furry Sings the Blues about Beale Street is great. She's got Neil Young on that doing the harmonica. It's just Strange Boy, everything on here. Blue Motel Room. It's can't miss Hejira on the title cut as well. Joni, she made these photos up at some lake, in Australia, the inside with all the lyrics. Beautiful, beautiful presentation of an album on Geffen again, Eye Asylum. And there's an insert. There's Joni doing her thing, the Black Crow. Okay, moving right along, we have, I believe this is, I got them a little out of order here. Songs in the Key of Life. Somebody I haven't talked a lot about, Stevie Wonder, but I have a lot of his records on vinyl and on CD. I love him very, very much. He's a fantastic performer. Kind of crosses over everything. I mean, somebody that collaborates, from Motown to Jeff Beck, plays all the instruments himself. He, long before Tubular Bells and people that, Steve Winwood, the kind of people that did all the instruments themselves. Stevie was doing it. This is 76 masterpiece, Songs in the Key of Life. It's 2 records. It's on, is it on Motown or is it on Tamla? It's on Tamla. Motown, Tamla. They're all in the Gordy. They're all on that label. It had the 45. It's got the Pastime Paradise that was sampled for Gangster Paradise that my son loves. Stevie Wonder has done film soundtracks, as you guys probably know, for a lot of the Spike Lee films. He's just fantastic. Fantastic. This is Something Extra, and this is a 45 that's included in it. One of my few. I think it's my only 45 actually. Love this album. More great artwork from Stevie, and as is great on this always. Collector's album includes 2 records, Something Extra bonus record, 24-page lyric booklet. Let's see if we can find the 24-page lyric booklet. There's my 24-page lyric booklet. Ooh, I have the 24-page lyric booklet. Ooh, one never knows what's going to find it. And Doodah's record collection, yeah, baby. So he had some help with this besides all the instruments. There were other people on here, but this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of work from, you know. And after Intervisions and Talking Book and Music of My Mind and Fulfillingness, to come out with another masterpiece, I mean, that was his, you know, his Dark Side, Wish You Were Here, Wall, Run, or Royal Scam, Asia, Gaucho, and on and on. Great, great, great album, Songs in the Key of Life. All right, moving right along. Warren Zevon, debut, came out in '76. This is a white label promo. I don't have a lot of those, but the ones that I have, I will proudly show on the Asylum label again. You can see David Geffen was kind of the music man that had all this, and the side people in this are amazing. Everly Brothers on harmony on Frank and Jesse James. Lindley again, Bob Glaub again, John David Souther and Jackson Browne doing harmonies. Jackson produced this, by the way. This was the debut. French Inhaler, Poor, Poor, Pitiful Me, that of course Linda covered. Carmelita, that I love. Lindley, Glenn Frey on the rhythm guitar and harmony. I mean, the side people on this, it just goes on and on. Jorge Calderon, who was on his last album, The Wind, not Hasten Down the Wind, what was his last album? Can't think of it. The Heart. Keep Me in Your Heart. Oh, that was the big symbol for, I think it was called The Wind, the last album. Bobby Keys from the Lindsey Buckingham and Stephanie Nicks on harmony. So you can see it was the LA music mafia, basically. Glenn Frey and Don Henley doing harmonies. Great, great, great album. Can't find a bad tune on this. Hasten Down the Wind. It was also a Linda cover. Desperados Under the Eaves. Beautiful song with Jackson and doing the harmonies. And Waddy Wachtel on a lot of the guitars. Just Lindsey Buckingham on guitars, I mentioned, and harmonies, Phil Everly. I mean, just a winner all the way around. Terrific. All right. The Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young machine was stalled out a little bit. And I read about this album. Originally, this was going to be a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young album, Long May You Run. But they had a little falling out, and Stills and Young took all of the Nash and Crosby vocals. But what they have off of it, and I guess instruments too, but what they have left was fantastic on the Reprise, on Neil's label. Who was, I think Stephen was recording on Atlantic, right? At that point, and then the first album was on Cotillion, which was part of the Atlantic family. So Long May You Run, Make Love to You, Midnight on the Bay, beautiful. Neil's song Ocean Girl. Everything on here is great. Fontainebleau, Guardian Angel, Let It Slide. Joe Layla on percussion. Stephen Stills and Neil. Jerry Aiello on keys. George Chocolate Perry on the bass. And Joe Vitale on the drums. So it was a all-star, recorded down in Miami. Fantastic. Mixed by Neil and Stephen. 1976 Long May You Run. Here's the cover. Very kind of retro cover with the handwriting on the back. And I think I've got a lyric sheet with this as well. The inner sleeve. It's got all the songs. And very gorgeous album. Laid back, Stephen and Neil, but Stephen and Neil, since Buffalo Springfield and CSNY, you can't go too wrong with that. There's another album that I think I featured. I know I've done Blow by Blow. This is Wired, which was the follow-up. Talk about 3 albums. Those 2 albums, Wired, Blow by Blow, Wired, both produced by George Martin, and then the live album with Jan Hammer. Jan Hammer was on 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 8 half the album, and then the other half was Max Middleton, who was great. So I mentioned that I saw him at that time. There's Jeff, 1976, Wired. Everything on here is fantastic. Blue Wind. He covers the Mingus Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. He's got a Narada Michael Walden, who played with Mahavishnu, song on here called Play With Me. Wilbur Bascom holds down the bass on, I think, everything. Blue Wind is just a duet with Hammer. Richard Bailey on the drums. Great, great album. Wired. You know, if you like fusion, tight, early fusion, and you like Jeff Beck, that's a must. I go back and forth between Wired and Blow by Blow. I have a little bit of fondness for Blow by Blow, I guess, because I saw the tour. Here's a pretty good singer-songwriter, Jerry Garcia. He's just coming out with his boy Robert Hunter. No, this was right in the middle of the Dead's run. This was 76. After the hiatus in 74, they were just coming back on the road in 76. In fact, I was looking at the New Year's show at the Cow Palace. I think it's 6 or 7 records. This was Reflections, and this is kind of an interesting album. I like this album a lot because it was half the Jerry Garcia band at the time, which was mostly people from the Dead, and then the other half was the Dead. So you've got Weir, Lesh, Godshaw, Kreutzmann, and Hart, and then you've got Nicky Hopkins, John Conn, Ron Tutt on the drums, and Larry Netchell on the keys. So this is great. It's on the Round Records, which was the Grateful Dead offshoot from Grateful Dead Records, 76. Might As Well. It's great about the train ride from the Festival Express up in Canada that they took, you know, with Janis Joplin and who else was up there? Ian and Sylvia, the band. Was very famous. Who else? The Riders were on the Festival Express. Janis. Who am I missing? The band. Ian and Sylvia was great. Buddy Guy, I think. I'll Take a Melody. Alan Toussaint is on here. Mission in the Rain. They Love Each Other, which was a big Grateful Dead Jerry song. A lot of these songs, Might As Well, Love Each Other, were done with the Dead as well. And flip side, here's the vinyl. Pretty good shape for 76. Must have been the Roses the Dead did. Tore Up Over You, that was pretty much a Jerry song. Catfish John was done with Old and in the Way and Comes a Time, which I don't know if he ever did Comes a Time with the Dead, but he certainly did. I think he did. A beautiful song. Very good songwriting. A lot of Hunter Garcia on here. And he had the white Travis Bean, although it looked kind of pink. And there's the train from Might As Well. And so Reflections, Jerry Garcia. There's an insert there too on that too. A lot of inserts with these albums in 76. This is one I picked up, I think, last summer or 2 summers ago. Billy Joel Turnstiles on the Columbia label. It's got the Family imprint, which I found Family was his record label before Columbia picked him up. This had Say Goodbye to Hollywood, Summer Highland Falls, great, one of my favorite Billy Joel ballads. New York State of Mind, and that's just the first side. Angry Young Man, I've Loved These Days, Miami, 2017. So this was really when he started to kick in, 76, with his, I mean, he'd done Piano Man before this, so he already had hits, but he was really a driving hit machine. And it was the band, Doug Stegmeyer on bass, Liberty DeVito on the drums, and has he got his sax player on here? I don't see the sax player. But it's great. Recorded in New York, produced by who produced, recorded? I want to say it was Phil Ramone, but associated with Home Run, engineer. Interesting. I don't see a project coordinated by Joe Buckley. Doesn't really have a production supervisor, John Bradley. Oh, there you go. So this was before. Great picture of the turnstiles in New York City of the time, and you had to put tokens in at that point. I believe that was a switch from coins to tokens, and then Billy with kind of almost like a basement tapes. I guess those are some of the characters from his songs. Billy looking there on his, like he's on his way to Madison Square Garden. Of course, 1976 was long before Billy was playing the Garden. If he was playing the Garden, he'd be playing warm up probably at that time. Southside Johnny and Asbury Jukes, first album, I Don't Want to Go Home. This has got fantastic stuff on here. You've got Steven Van Zandt all over this album. Songs written by the Boss. You've got the whole Asbury Jukes on here. It's just fantastic. And Steve Van Zandt, I mentioned. The Fever is great on here. It's got a Solomon Burke song, Got to Get You Off My Mind. It Ain't the Meat, It's the Motion. So he's got ballads. He's got Ronnie Spector singing with him on here, and You Mean So Much to Me, a Springsteen song. Just great. I Don't Want to Go Home. Southside there with probably taken in the wee hours at the Stone Pony, I would imagine, where he hung out. Did many, many shows with the Boss and the E Streeters. And this is a great, probably his best album, and I really like his work. Jimmy Iovine worked on this and just has a great, great, great sound. What else do I want to say about this? Not too much. It's got string section. It just sounds great. If you like the Boss, you like Southside Johnny, that's a must-have. Another big hit in '76 was Boz Scaggs. He really broke out from his blues, and having worked with Steve Miller on his own, he'd been solo. He'd worked with Duane Allman, but this was really the breakout album for him, Silk Degrees, and it is fantastic. He's got Alan Toussaint again on here writing for him. What Do You Want the Boy to Do? He's got an all-star lineup. I don't have a lyric. I don't have the Lido was a big. What was the other one? Lowdown and Lido were all over the radio. Big hits for Boz, Silk Degrees. And when it first came out, I thought it was a little disco-y, and it was a little, very, what can I say? It's Over, Love Me Tomorrow, Lido Shuffle. I thought it was a little overplayed, but going back to it all these years later, and knowing what a with Boz hooking up with Fagan and Mike McDonald on the Dukes of September tour, and just kind of reevaluating Boz Scaggs, his work in that the movie. What was that movie with the great soundtrack with Linda Ronstadt and Charlie Daniels? I can't think of it right now. Not Urban Cowboy. Yeah, Urban Cowboy. There you go. And it's great. It's fantastic. It's really good music. There's a little band called the Eagles, Hotel California. That was a pretty big record back in '76. Everybody knows that one. Here's the inside. Oh, this is pretty cool. On my copy of it, I got the clipping from the New York Times, I guess the review of it from '76 that somebody put in my copy. So that's kind of cool thing that you don't. Somebody mentioned it, and I got the poster in here too. It says Dark Songs by California Eagles. I think is it Palmer? No, Penelope Ross. Their original innocence is completely gone, however contrived it might have been. I don't know if they were ever innocent. I think that was tongue in cheek, because they had played with Linda. Here's the poster. Give you that. And I think everybody knows this album poster, which is at Marquee Records. We'll give them a shout out, because I get a lot of good records from them. Don't know if I got this from them. Hotel California, of course, is a masterpiece. My daughter's. Shout out to Sherry, her favorite song, at least her favorite Eagles song, one of her favorite songs that I like to play for her when I play acoustic guitar. Here's the hotel. I believe it was the Beverly Hilton. They took that picture, great picture of it, that on a T-shirt. And there they are on the inside, looking very Eagle-ish from '76. Of course, Geffen's, they were one of Geffen's really cash cows at that point. What's there to say about the music? I mean, Life in the Fast Lane. I mean, Last Resort. On a Dark Desert Highway. It's, so much has been said about this album. And what do I think Hotel California is about? I think it's about life. Here's what I was looking for. I was looking for this is a cool in the kind of Art Deco blue, right? Hotel California. And Bill Seismic, who I found out did a lot of jazz albums with ABC before he went over to the Eagles, and recorded through March of October in '76. Recorded Criteria Studios in Miami again, and just a great wasted time. Every New Kid in Town, which was supposedly about Springsteen, and then they said it wasn't. John David Souther writing a lot of the songs. Don Felder, of course, on here with Walsh and Fry doing the triple guitars on Hotel California, Victim of Love, Pretty Maids All in a Row, Try and Love Again, a Randy Meisner song. Just great stuff. Genesis I had this in Wind and Weather. Wind and Weathering is great, but I thought I would pick Trick of the Tail. I really like Trick of the Tail, Dance on a Volcano, Squonk. This is English prog rock and Collins, fun of its highest. Hackett was gone by this point, I believe, and it was just Rutherford Banks and Collins. Oh no, Hackett's on this album. Excuse me. No. Hackett is on this album. Electric guitar. My bad. Hypnosis did the cover. Great cover. Trick of the Tail. Another album that I thought was, I don't know what I thought it was, commercial. I don't. It's just over the years. Ripples, Robbery, Assault, and Battery, Squonk. It's a great romp through prog rock. Los Endos. It's fantastic. Can't say enough about it. Recorded at Trident Studios, along with Air and Abbey Road, one of the top 3 studios in England. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Electric Light Orchestra. We have New World Record. It's got Tightrope. It's got Living Thing. It has a cover of The Moves' Do Ya, the great Jeff Lynne, Bev Bevan, Richard Tandy, Kelly Grokut, Mick Kaminsky, Hugh McDowell, and Melvin Gale. And here's a picture of the band. Yeah, ELO with their cool and groovy 1976 sweatshirts. So they were riding the charts high too. ELO, very Beatles. Talking about Abbey Road, very Beatles. This was actually recorded at Musicland, which was Giorgio Moroder's studio in Munich. So that's a little. And wrapping it up, going back to one of, this was Hasten Down the Wind with Linda Ronstadt. You had Warren Zevon's song on here. You had a Ry Cooder song on here. You had a Carla Bonoff that we talked about and it's on the Asylum label again. Rivers of Babylon, Jimmy Cliff. She's, John Hall. She wrote one song on here, Tracy Nelson song, Willie Nelson song. Got the Nelsons, no relation. I don't believe Tracy Nelson's related to Willie Nelson as far. And another, she opens with a Carla Bonoff, Lose Again, and closes with a Carla Bonoff. So this is just a great great album, and a lot of the usual suspects again. From what I call the Geffen LA Mafia. You've got Dan Dugmore. Well, that was her guy on pedal steel. Kenny Edwards did bass and a lot of that. Michael Botts on the drums. Andrew Gold doing background vocals, doing piano. Hand claps. Peter Asher did a lot of production. That'll Be the Day is also on here. The Buddy Holly and the Crickets tune. Waddy Wachtel, who else? Don Henley harmony vocals, so on and on and on. All Stars. That'll Be the Day was written in 1957. That was a good year because I was born that year. Kenny Edwards, Dan Dugmore, Andrew Gold. So basically, Linda's band. These is a lyric sheet with "Hasten Down the Wind." I actually have 2 copies of this. It's the other one on the other one's on the Blue Asylum label. I have to do a little. That's interesting. I think that one might be an earlier press. All right, and that wraps up Best of 76. I did not include Best of, and I did not include live albums. I took all of those out, and I did not include jazz albums, so I may do follow-ups with those. Keep on rocking. Shout out to Tony. Tony's LPs are us, and Kenny's audiophile. Great jazz reviews out in LA, and I will see you soon. Be well. God bless.